upper's done. We're gonna do our tabletop. Just so you know how I work is this space I consider one space. So this table, these bookcases, the upper, this all should work together both in color and in concept. So we're going to start the architecture on this. Again, as I said before, the biggest piece is the first piece you're going to start with, and we're going to start with this little rolling cart by Raz. I want it kind of towards the back because we're still going to continue building on up front. This gives us enough real estate in the front. This elevates us, gives us some more surfaces to display on. I think I'm going to use one of these crates. And I usually when I do displays, it's like I will have the centerpiece and then I work to the left or the right. Lisa at Stephen Young and I always joke, I usually put things to the right. She usually puts things to the left. So again, to the right. And then our next biggest piece is going to be the cotton candy lady from Glitterville. Let me get her, she's right here. So this is your big drama piece. And I talk a lot about investment pieces. They are extremely important. While they may seem expensive, these pieces are what make that impact. It's worth the investment. They're also for sale. One of the brilliant things that Andrea does here at Maison, which is a great way to cover the cost of this, is she rents this out. So she'll have an insurance policy for somebody who's renting it out, but this becomes a centerpiece for a lot of birthday parties. But these investment pieces are priceless. I think that they are worth every cent. So there's the beginning of our architecture, and we're going to start building it out from here. We are going to continue on doing the architecture. I consider, even though these are still for sale, because they're so tall, they're still part of the architecture. So we're going to do one. I just love how big the fat roses these are. And I don't want to flank it. So maybe her over. That feels a little too tall. So what I might do is fold these guys down and put them into a lower, but for right now what we're going to do is fill these baskets. Because a lot of what we're going to do is we're filling case lines and filling baskets. I usually like to use something called Excelsior. It's a wood pulp based. It comes in bulk. You can buy it. Either you can find it on Google or you can get it at floral departments. But it makes a nice soft base, and I refuse to use that crappy crinkle stuff. So this looks a little bit more, I guess, lifestyle, you'd say. So this is how Excelsior comes. It comes in a big box. Sometimes if you buy it florist through bulk, it comes compressed and it literally expands out to like 5 times the size. Again, it's just a great filler. We use it a lot for Easter baskets as well. It's also extremely messy, just to let you know. And I like to kind of fluff it up because whatever goes in here, if it's small, it's not going to fall back into the bottom of the basket, and it's going to still give it that fullness it needs. I mean, it is really messy. And I kind of create a little nest out of it, so that gets this filled. I'm going to clean this down, and then I'm going to put on, I like to use mirrors as trays. This is going to be our tray for the top. We may get a lower crate because this is too high. I feel like if we get another one that's just a little bit lower, you'll still be able to see what's inside the baskets without burying the whole thing. Because again, this is going to have merchandise on it, so it's only going to block what's behind it. Biggest candles are in now. I'm going to fill one of these containers with short roses, just so you keep that pop of color and the continuity that's going to continue to flow on back to the back of the display. These lovely little short ones. Again, all the flowers are for sale, so you want to make them easy to shop. So these guys, we're just going to kind of, we're going to pull this out a little bit so you still see it. And we're going to pop those guys. So I popped the little rose groupings here, so that will kind of continue those colors. That will continue back in here. I also have for this table is this glassware and these lovely little tea sugar cubes. So we're going to build that in here. And the reason why I love these is because they have the flower petals in them, so it kind of pulls together the groupings with the rose petals that are in the rosy candles, and tells that kind of springy, florally story. Again, cross-merchandising everything. We've got candle snuffers. You want something like this, matches, candle snuffers, candle clippers, all for that add-on sale. I'm gonna put that here. I'm gonna start with the second biggest candle group. Let me grab that. This guy I'm gonna do back here. So we're not going to be able to get as big as stacks here since they're by themselves. I mean, the shelf is kind of limiting. So I think what we might do, we'll do a little grouping here and a little grouping up here. I usually do not like to do double exposing. Double exposing means you're showing it at two different places. I think it's confusing to the customers. I feel like, is this the same candle as this? But because they're relatively close in proximity, I'm pretty comfortable with showing them this way. So I've got that second layer in. I'm going to add in a couple colors of glassware. We'll start with the pink. And there's a little bit of blue in this, and we've got a blue glassware, so I feel like if we do some blue down here, we'll kind of tie that color in. And we have a different size. We're gonna do a champagne glass here. And ideally, some of these little nooks you're creating, you do want a little bit of negative space. I'm not big on filling the entire space because it feels like if there's too much, A, it's overwhelming to the customer, and B, it looks sort of like a garage sale. And get used to that word because I use it a lot, and it's like my biggest peeve with my retailers that feel like they need to spread everything over every single section of the store and every single service. You need a little bit of negative space. Okay, I've got 2 of the glassware colors in, 3 of the candles in. There's a few candles left, but I want to make sure I put in the tea cubes now. So you want to show them, again, you're creating add-on sales. So these are little champagne. I guess you drop these in champagne. It makes it bubbly and turns it a color. So you want to add them close to the glassware that ideally they'll sell 1 in 1. We're going to use the other little half of this basket for these. And you kind of want them, like the reason why the Excelsior works so well is because it kind of pushes it up. There's only 6 items in here, so if we didn't have the Excelsior, they just literally would fall to the back. The Excelsior kind of keeps it front and forwarded. Pull it up a little bit. There's a second flavor. These guys I think we're going to stack just right next to it. I hate that, so we're not going to do that. I think we'll show it this way. So So it means I need to make room on my tray. And yes, I know before anyone says it, this is glass on mirror and it could be obviously very dangerously bad luck, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So now when you look at it, this is front and forwarded. You actually see what it is as opposed to when I had it on its side and all you saw was the barcode. It plays back to glassware. It works with the colorway. Let me go get some more glassware and then we'll add our last 2 colors of candles. I cross-merchandise books back to most of the displays. Again, you're creating add-on sales as well as telling a story and kind of deepening that concept. We're gonna add the Rosé All Day book. Again, plate stands are your best friend. In this other space up here, we're gonna add another book. And I like to, when I stand and look at a table, I like to make sure everything's not on the same side. So we've got a book here. I was gonna put a book there. I think it's too contrived, so I'm gonna slide over some of the glassware. And we'll do the book in the center. Now we've got this space. I have this great brunch all day tray. We're gonna do that, or brunch lady tray. And because it's kind of tall, I don't want it to block this, but I'm okay with it covering kind of the candles because they're so big you can still see them behind. And we're gonna add our last color of rosy rings here. I need a plate stand, so we're just gonna pretend it's on a plate stand.
I have a plate stand over here if you need it.
Well, thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
So now we've got kind of, the only thing is I'm probably gonna add some flowers right here so there's kind of a little bit of separation. That's why I'll do that, is drop little pockets of flowers in, because it gives a separation where it's not, again, you don't want that run-on sentence. So I have a couple more colors left. So there you can see there's a separation between the 2 candles. There's separation from here. You can still see up the display. You've got the pop of roses. I think that's good for the front of the table.